Hey guys, so I know the title screen for my last video about Kiely Rodni states it was going to be the last one until law enforcement gave us an update. Now I know that we are hearing they could be doing so next week, so we could have something as early as tomorrow. I don't know, and I'm not going to pretend to know what they might tell us, but I really do hope that they come out and say something, because it would help die down a lot of this crazy stuff going on, don't you know? Now, I am trying my best to not delve into any of the rumors that some of these other channels are throwing out there when it comes to relationships between certain people involved in the case and how they are speculating certain things. But I am here to set the record straight on at least two things that are going around right now that, if anything, just shows me that people do not do their own research whatsoever. The first one I would like to talk about is the News Nation reporter who stated that Kiely's body was in the passenger seat. The fact that people are actually taking that to heart when it comes to this case, when we already know that that's not true, is ridiculous. If you hadn't heard of a typo of the mouth before, I mean, come on. These news reporters say things incorrectly all the time. Why do you think YouTube news stations are so popular? The other issue that is going around and causing a bunch of problems is that Crime Online posted an article where they stated that in an interview with Fox 46, Jagger told them that he basically was at the exact same party as Kiely, and that they basically said their goodbyes and parted ways there at the party, from the way that Crime Online is wording this said interview. What completely flabbergasts me about this situation is that Fox 46 is in Charlotte, North Carolina. They're not even anywhere near the area. The news station in the area that would have interviewed anyone is Fox 40, not Fox 46. As a matter of fact, if you go to Fox 46's website and type in Kiely Rodni's name, there's only 5 articles that they wrote about this situation, because they are in North Carolina, so it's not like it's their own breaking news to be covering every single day. With the very first one being on day 10 of her being reported missing. And I went through and read all 5 of those articles, and I don't think I saw Jagger's name in it, not once. There have been a few comments stating that this was actually said to Fox 40, but that it was removed pretty early on. I'm not going to sit here and verify that. I can't remember a single time that I heard anything of the sort. I remember from the very beginning us being told that he had been texting Kiely throughout the evening about his crappy day, and that she didn't respond back to him until 10:30 with that very vague text message. I mean, that was part of the details in the video I gave where I show concern over the 4-hour time gap that we have no information whatsoever about Kiely. At 6:08 security footage to the 10 o'clock time that she apparently got there with Mags, we have no idea what happened in that 4-hour period. Something else that SF Investigates said in that interview that I talked about previously is that she was apparently at another gas station type location. Now, I took the information that he said about this because he stated it was on the intersection of the highway and the Coldstream Road that Kiely lived on. And this is the only gas station that looks like it would fit that description. And now, according to him, there's no footage of her being there. There's no photos of her being there, but she apparently bought 2 gallons of gas. which is kind of strange. So maybe they were just told that by the people at this gas station, that they remembered her going in there and only getting 2 gallons of gas, but we don't know the time. We don't know if it was before or after the 6:08 footage. We don't know if it was after her phone apparently went dead. None of that information is being released. Since there's no footage of her being at anywhere else, the only way they could have possibly know that she was there and bought 2 gallons of gas is if they were, like I said, told by someone who works there to have remembered she only bought 2 gallons of gas, or there was a card swiped somewhere. And SF sure is talking about it, so maybe the police have information on it. I don't know. But it's kind of strange how there's apparently evidence of her being at another location, just like in the julezofalltrades case, but no one's giving us any actual details about it. Why? I would also like to touch on something that I heard on Plunder's latest video on the case. Apparently she has been in talks or has been able to see things being posted by an anonymous yet verified family member of Kiely Rodni. Now, this family member was at both the life memorial that happened on September the 10th and also attended the private family function that happened afterwards. And I have some thoughts about what this lady has stated. Now, this is someone who does think that foul play could possibly be involved. She didn't realize how many other people in the family and in the community also felt the same way until she went down there for these memorial events. Now, this family member has made it very clear about how they feel about the way that Lindsay is handling the situation. Now, she's not grieving publicly from what we can see, but according to the family member, she is very much in a mourning state. And I never doubted the fact that she is feeling the pain of losing a child. But I do feel like there are things in this situation that she might be choosing to be naive about because it's easier, which I can slightly understand to a point, I guess. But it is also very clear that the biological father of Kiely, Dan, will be digging deeper, and he's not going to be letting this go. Now, there's a giant rift in the family, and there apparently has been for quite a while. And if you listen to the lyrics in the song that was found on SoundCloud that Kiely Rodni posted with a friend of hers a little over a year ago, and then you take into consideration everything that this anonymous family member is stating when it comes to the relationship between Kiely and Dan, the words very much do seem like they are cries of a daughter who feels abandoned. To be honest, I can relate with that. As a kid, as a teenager, I know for a fact that I felt the same way. So I can totally relate with her lyrics. And I will have a link to a channel under the name of ConspiraTea. They took Kiely's song and did their own version of remastering to make it a little bit more clear on the lyrics. It's pretty deep, and I really hope all of you go and take a listen. But it would also explain why Dan is so publicly distraught. And this family member states that she doesn't feel as if he's going to stop anytime soon. He's going to dig as deep as he possibly can for answers about what happened to Kiely. So even though her mom in that portion of the family may just be wanting peace and to not be bothered right now, that doesn't mean necessarily that they don't have their own suspicions of things. And while granted everyone does grieve a little differently, it is still strange to a lot of people the relationships that we are seeing coming from this situation. But everyone does things their own way, I guess. Another reason why I wanted to mention the information that Plunder had from this family member is because a lot of us have had a lot of problems with the fact that Lindsay has yet to thank AWP or even say anything good about AWP. According to what this family member has stated, Lindsay and that side of the family were just under the impression that Adventures with Purpose were social media clout chasers. Now, this is where I will once again direct you to Zavgirl's panel, where SF clearly states that the family asked him if Adventures with Purpose were legit. Okay, so if after all of this, their impression of Adventures with Purpose is that they're nothing but social media clout chasers, I'm just gonna go ahead and let y'all put the blame there where you deem it needs to go. Now, that sentiment is not followed with everyone in the family or the community. According to this family member, a lot of them are very thankful for what both AWP and Check It TV did, because they were able to get some of Kiely's belongings back, and Kiely herself. While they do thank social media to a certain extent, there are a lot of people that are definitely crossing the line, doxing people who don't need their information released, calling the lodge, trying to pretend to be customers just to get information, people coming in and acting like tourists when they're really just there to pry and harass them physically and in person. These things are not okay. You should not be overstepping your boundaries. You can state your theories, what you believe to be true, and what you think could have possibly happened here. But to dox family members and basically try to physically intervene in their lives is completely unacceptable. Now, the last thing that I want to say is something about the rumor being spread everywhere about Kate and Jagger. Now, we have our suspicions on the two of them, right? Several of us do. The problem that I have, the biggest issue that I have, is that the YouTuber that was sent this DM about this situation isn't considering the fact that in what she is being told, this man, this boy, I'm going to assume, is stating that him and Kate were flirting back and forth with each other in these messages, and then all of a sudden Kate sends him a snap like an "I got a man" and it's you know who in the background. I cannot take that information to heart for so many freaking reasons. For one, Kate is very aware that everyone is suspicious of her. Jagger is very aware that everyone is suspicious of him, and the two of them are very aware that they are the ones that most people are suspecting were at the roadside assistance call. With the way that not only those two, but pretty much everyone else whose name has been involved in this situation is avoiding social media like the plague, except for Sammy every now and then when she gets a wild hair up her butt to start a new social media that she then gets attacked on and then instantly deletes it, which at this point I'm going to state is just for her own ego-driven whatever is going on there. I don't understand why she just keeps creating social media accounts to post one or two things and then instantly delete it. I'm not comprehending that whatsoever. But with that being said, why, when she knows, Kate knows that so many people are suspicious of her, him, and them together, would she send some rando that she's been flirting with through social media a snapshot of them two together that she knows damn well can be used against her in a million different ways? This simply just sounds like a guy who contacted Kate trying to be her knight in shining armor because according to his words, he just felt really bad for her. And she probably just was not flirting back the way that this person is acting like she was, and showed no real interest in him whatsoever. So to manage his scorned little heart, decided to lie. That's exactly what I think this is that is being spread around. A lie. Now, I could be wrong, but I know this person is only showing like text messages, and I can easily make those in my Canva app to look very real. So I'm just gonna call bullshittery on that one and leave it at that. I'm going to hope that law enforcement keeps their word and actually gives us some sort of update this coming week. I know that if they would have just come out and said something, anything at this point, a lot of this circus would have probably been wrapped up and on the road by now. Let's hope some things change after they come out and tell us a few things. I gotta go give these dogs a bath, so I'll see y'all.